Thanks for tuning to Coral Gables Television. Today on Coral Gables Now, it is not too late to get that vegetable garden going. We'll have some tips from an expert to help you garden with ease. Big improvements are in store for a park in the southern end of the city. Plus, the iconic Miracle Theater marquee is being restored, and chances are you've never seen it the way it was originally intended to look. And if you find the city beautiful, romantic, then you're definitely not alone. Coral Gables Now starts right now. Welcome to Coral Gables Now. I'm Belkis Perez. Soon, a mostly barren park in the south end of the city will become a paradise for residents. A major landscape beautification project will take place at Ingram Park at the intersection of Lejeune Road and Ingram Terrace near the Coco Plum Circle, or as we call it also, the Cartagena Plaza. Joining us to talk about the project is landscape architect Brooke Danamiller from ACOM. Thank you so much for joining us today, Brooke.
Hello, pleasure to be here.
So right now, how the park is, the current conditions, it's a passive park. Are the plans to keep it that way?
Yes, Ingram Park is currently a passive park, and the planned improvements to the park are designed to enhance the passive uses of the park and create a attractive amenity for neighborhood residents.
So let's talk about what we can see there right now. The park basically is just grass, a few trees, not anything else. It's a weird shape also.
Yeah, it's a
right?
triangular shape, and you have the roads, traffic going by as well. So right now it's an underutilized space, and the city is trying to improve it so it's more of an amenity for the residents.
Because right now it's really in the south end of the city. Is there anything right now that would be, that has a beautiful landscape? I don't think there is that much going on in the south end, so this would be a great project, a great piece of land to enhance.
Yes, the intent is to create a world-class architectural feature, a civic space for the southern part of the Coral Gables that's on par with the architectural features in the northern part of the Gables, such as the Country Club Prado entrance and the DeSoto Fountain.
Okay, and so what is actually going to go into this new park now?
There's a lot of features, but the main feature is it's a new fountain in the corner of the park. It's similar to a fountain that's in the Alhambra in Spain, and that will be framed by a curved trellis structure that will have stone columns, have white bougainvilleas growing up it, which will create a nice quiet space to sit in the shade, enjoy the park. So that's the focal point. There's also several other features. There's a exercise circle in the center of the park, and it's strategically located to be in the shaded area underneath some existing oak trees. Mm-hmm. And as well, there are actually two of my favorite features as a runner and cyclist are there's a chilled water fountain and a mister, which will be a lifesaver on hot, humid days. The drinking fountains also have a nozzle on them so the cyclists can refill their water bottles on it. And as you can see, we really tried to pay attention to the details that will really make this park a true asset to the community.
So how about any sustainable materials? I know the city tries to do some energy efficiency wherever possible. Is there anything like that here?
Yes, actually all of the lighting in the park, the pedestrian lighting, landscape lighting, is energy efficient, long-lasting LED lights. So that will help save the environment by less electricity and also help save the city money. And also the plant materials, it's a mix of drought-tolerant, low-maintenance, and mostly native plant material. So that will reduce maintenance costs and water usage, which is great for the environment and our good use of our tax dollars.
And looking at the plants that were chosen or that are being talked about right now, beautiful plants, Very Mediterranean and tropical. You spoke about bougainvilleas on the trellis and the fountain from Spain. Very Mediterranean feel, and it's in keeping with the look and feel of the city.
Yes, it's a combination of trying to have stay within the Coral Gables architectural vernacular, but also it has cleaner lines, so it's also a little more modern to basically marry kind of today with the history of Coral Gables.
And one thing I did want to point out, this is a great feature that now residents who already walk around the park or ride their bike around there, now they can enjoy just this more enhanced park and these improvements. This will continue to be a neighborhood park.
Yes, it'll be great for all the cyclists and runners and the dog walkers. The fountains even have a pet drinking bowl at the bottom of them, and there's pet waste stations in the park as well. So it should be for everyone that's already using it. It should just enhance their experience.
So when can we expect construction?
Construction, the city has construction scheduled to start this month, and the contractor is scheduled to complete construction within about 5 months. So should be August, September timeframe if everything goes according to plan.
Well, thanks, Brooke, for coming. We appreciate it, and thank you for giving us that update.
Oh, thanks for having me.
All right, and we'll definitely keep tabs on the progress of this project, and we'll bring you the pictures when it's done. Now, coming up, if you want to kick your nutrition into a whole new level, stick around. We're heading outdoors to show you how to grow an organic garden.
Help stop red light running. Go to stoponred.org to support intersection safety programs in your community. The life you save may be the one you love.
Welcome to Coral Gables Now. We're here at the Merrick House. This is the boyhood home of the city's founder, George Merrick, and this house is on the National Register of Historic Places, and it exists much like it did in the 1920s. Now, it's filled with many of the family's artworks and furniture, and I brought you here because for the early years and for many years, the Merricks actually lived off of the fruits and vegetables that they planted right here. So although Florida is known for its citrus industry, there is a whole lot more that can be planted here, and it's so important to know what you're growing and to know where it came from. Very important to do, and for that reason we actually brought here with us to tell us how easy it is to grow our own garden at home. We've got Adrienne Huntsberger from the University of Florida. You've got such a huge title, I'm going to have you say it yourself.
Hi, Belkis. I'm Adrienne Huntsberger. I work for the University of Florida Miami-Dade County Extension Office, and I'm an urban horticulture agent as well as an entomologist.
There we go. So we got the expert here for you guys, just so you know. So basically, I wanted to say, if someone is just starting off, we're starting and we want to plant a garden, there's different types of choices that we've got. Here at the Merrick House, they've actually planted a raised bed. This is what you would call a raised bed, right?
Yes.
It's made out of rock and concrete, but do you need to use this? Can you use anything?
You can use anything. I use concrete blocks because each year if I decide to change the location of my garden, it's easy for me to pick everything up. You can use lumber, you can use coral rock, just about anything that's going to hold its shape.
Okay, and so how high does it need to be?
Well, 8 inches, 10 inches is fine. If you had it any deeper, that's just a lot of extra soil that the plant won't be using. But then again, if you're maybe can't bend over or if you're in a wheelchair, you can actually build a raised bed on sawhorses.
Okay, so so basically by, I would say, your mid calf here.
Yes.
Is the most, okay. So soil, is that the most important thing to put in your raised bed?
Right, and you're not going to be using earth or topsoil. You're going to actually be using potting soil, compost, or a combination of the two.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer to use a combination or just to grow purely in compost. And you can buy that at the garden centers, or you can even buy that in bulk.
So you can put fully compost or potting soil.
Right.
Okay. Now, we were talking before about this. You would put some sort of newspaper or cardboard or something under and then put the soil on top. Why?
Absolutely. Well, the problem with gardening in the ground is that there are nematodes, they're microscopic little worms that can cause sort of like tumors on plant roots. It doesn't kill the plant, but it doesn't make them very thrifty. It doesn't. They don't flourish, and also they tend to wilt more easily. And also, there's some soil-borne plant diseases that you can't really do anything about. So why not kind of distance yourself from all those problems by putting in a raised bed?
Does that affect humans at all?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
These are just plant problems.
Okay, so how about the people who don't have a large area to plant a garden? Is a container garden good enough?
Absolutely. One of the things that's really important when you're gardening is that for vegetables you need to have at least 6-8 hours or more of full sun all day long. And I know in the Gables that's pretty tough trick to do, but herbs and lettuces will do fine getting some shade. So if the sunniest part of your yard, or if you didn't have a big yard, is to go ahead and have a container garden.
Okay, and so are you saying that any of these things right here that we see, can all this be planted in a container garden?
Anything can be planted in a container garden except for sweet potatoes. You can grow sweet potatoes in a container. You'll get plenty of vines, but you're not going to get much in the way of the roots to harvest.
So even carrots can be planted in a container?
Right in front of us are some cabbage. You've got some herbs here.
Okay.
Tomatoes do really well in containers.
So why wouldn't you, Adrian, plant right on the ground? I mean, we've got soil. Why not plant it right on the ground?
I don't like to sweat more than I have to. I'm down in Homestead and we don't have soil. But it's a lot more work. You have to have more tools to dig up the soil, and again, you're going to have the disease and also the nematode problems. And there's really no way to avoid them when you're gardening in the soil in the ground.
So, what is possible to grow in Florida? We have here a great variety. Can anyone do this in their own garden?
Oh, absolutely. Now, one of the things is our planting season is topsy-turvy to the rest of the United States. We actually start gardening in mid-October, November, and then we're pretty much done by April or May.
Okay.
There are exceptions. There are tropical plants that we can grow year-round, and I brought with me today, this is, if you like the taste of cranberry, this is what they call the Florida cranberry or sorrel, and you harvest, these are the pods, and you make tea out of it, and it tastes exactly like cranberry juice.
Okay. Now, can you take me through here and tell me what we've got here? Well, it just shows people the possibilities that we've got.
Right. Well, we've got some dill that's growing over here.
Yep.
We've got some.
That's parsley, right?
Well, actually, it looks like parsley, but it's not. This is cilantro.
Okay.
This, I'm not really sure what that is. This is sage, which is probably enough for the whole neighborhood.
Yeah, you would only need one plant of those.
Probably
it's really
for your family, right.
This is cabbage, huh?
This is cabbage. And
it's a beautiful type of cabbage.
Right. And, I would plant it back last fall. By now, the heads would be ready to be harvested.
Okay.
We've got some dill over here, which is a great herb.
What is this? Is this oregano?
That's oregano. And then right next to your hand are some onions.
This is onions.
Yeah, a lot of times people don't realize we can grow onions. There's certain types that we have to grow down here.
So there's a bulb down here somewhere?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
How do you know when to harvest this?
Well, with the University of Florida, we have fact sheets on all this.
Okay.
And we can actually tell you, suggest when to plant things, when things are going to be harvested. But also when you buy seeds at the store, it will tell you on the back of it how long it's going to take from the seeds to harvest.
Right.
Because if you started your garden now, you probably wouldn't have a lot to be planting, because you have to think, what are you going to be harvesting by April or May?
Yeah, or May.
Yeah.
Okay. And back here we've got some lettuce, romaine lettuce, and
carrots
right over here.
Carrots. I brought some carrots from the extension office that I harvested this morning. And if I grow the short type of carrots, and you can harvest them at any time. You can harvest them early as little baby carrots, or let them get bigger.
So what's the difference between an organic garden and a regular garden? A lot of people, we hear organic and we think, oh, that's the maximum. We should totally strive for that. It's the healthiest. What makes this an organic garden?
Well, one of the things is if you are gardening in compost or with potting mix, that's organic. And it's also pest control. So if you choose the least toxic types of pest control, like soaps, oils, or BT, which is a bacterial disease that if the caterpillar eats it, it kills them. Of course, you wouldn't want to use that in your butterfly garden, but and I like the old smash test or the squish method, which is if it's big enough to see, just smush it with your fingers.
Oh Lord. So how about in my garden at home? I've got this black tarp, and then on top of that, I poked holes and I planted the seeds, and I've got a garden. And the reason I put that black tarp in is because I was hoping not to get weeds.
Right.
How good is that?
Well, that's not a really good method in the vegetable garden. In fact, this garden could have maybe twice as many plants as you see here. And you can get plants to the point where they're not overcrowding each other, but so close together they're covering the whole area. So you're going to have a lot more productivity, as well as you're going to have less likelihood of weeds coming up.
Okay, so we do see some weeds in some places here. What you're saying is that maybe what we could do is put another cabbage, fill this up with more onions, leave enough, so we have less of the dark areas showing.
Right,
and
right.
Then the weeds will take care of themselves.
Right, and when the soil's covered with plant leaves, there's no way for the weed seeds to land on the soil.
So if you do have weeds, you've got a contraption.
Yeah, right.
Here.
And a lot of us are getting older, and we can't bend over as easily as we once did. And you can get this at any garden center, and you can just quickly pull up the weeds that way.
So you just scrape it with that and
right.
It comes off?
And there are other types of hose that have like a blade. So there's a lot of easy ways, but the easiest way actually is to get those weed seeds before they get to any size. The sooner you pull them out, the better off it is.
Okay. How about watering?
Okay, watering is a common mistake where people tend to overestimate how much water plants need. And the best test is your built-in soil moisture meter, which is your finger.
Yes, okay.
You want the soil surface to dry out.
Okay.
Okay, that's good because you're going to have fewer weed problems. You need to stick your finger in a couple inches down into the soil. And down here, I'm going to pull up some soil. If I can hold it in a ball like this and it holds its shape, that means it's plenty moist enough. So this garden doesn't need to be watered again until maybe 3 or 4 more days. Depends on how much sun it's getting. But until you get used to how much your garden needs, you might need to check the soil every 3 or 4 days to see how dry it's getting.
And how about fertilizer?
Fertilizer, well, if you're growing in pure compost, that is your fertilizer, so you don't usually need to add more. But if you're using just potting soil, if it's a potting soil that doesn't have fertilizer already mixed into it, you will need to be fertilizing. And again, we have fact sheets to give you guidance as to how much to use and when.
All right. Thank you, Adrienne. Really helpful information. And it's great because, everything that we can learn and we can, take these tips into our own garden, the better it's going to be. All right, so for more information on growing a garden, there is a lot to learn. This is just a little snippet that we got for you. But for more information, you can just Google Miami-Dade Extension. It's going to be one of the first sites that comes out. There you're going to find more information on how to grow different types of gardens. There's fact sheets and even videos that can help you through the process. And if you still are waiting for your garden to produce, then don't worry, just head over to the farmer's market. It's available until the end of March. You've got also some gardening workshops and some cooking demonstrations as well. We'll be right back with more of Coral Gables Now.
Take a pop quiz with me. In what film did I feel a need for speed? What was my call sign? Who did I sit behind in the F-14? Oh, and one more question. Who does your kid sit behind in homeroom?
Know what really matters. Know about your kid's school and know about your kid. Find out 100 ways to know more, do more.
Welcome back. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, more than half of all marriages end in divorce. It's a growing trend with many people left to find ways to cope with a new life. Rodolfo Roman shows us how to start anew.
We're in Coral Gables, a top 10 romantic city, but there's nothing lovely about marriages in the United States, as many end up in divorce. However, experts say, don't worry, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Divorce rates are climbing in the United States. There are several factors leading to ending marriages, such as marrying at an early age, finances, or a lack of being compatible. However, there is life after divorce. Love expert Angela Luton said it just takes time.
Well, it's going to take a little bit of time to get your self-confidence back, right? And you haven't dated in a long time. So you're going to need a complete dating makeover where you're confident, the hair is looking good, the clothes are looking good, and you're ready to go out there and meet people.
Overcoming depression caused by divorce could be difficult and lead you to think love isn't needed. But Luton said that is wrong.
It's very common after a divorce to throw yourself into the kids, throw yourself into work, and completely say, I don't need love right now, because you're so focused on going through the pain and mending the pain. But you do, just like you said, you have to take a step back and go, okay, I need a balanced life. I need to have some dating time. Maybe I'm not ready for love just yet, but I need to go out and meet people, and maybe someone I'll find that I want to spend some time with.
Work could take time away from your love life, and it could prevent you from meeting someone. But you can always venture into online dating.
It was almost an embarrassment to admit that you were dating online back, of course, several years ago. Now 1 in 5 couples finds love online. So it's a very valuable asset to you to have an online dating profile.
Luton said that if you do decide to look into dating websites, make sure you invest in paying sites. For Coral Gables Now, Rodolfo Roman.
All right, thanks, Rodolfo. In other news, Lejeune Road is not only one of the most traveled roads in the city, but soon you may think it's one of the prettiest as well. Tanya Leitz has that story and others on City News.
Belkis locals can expect some delays north and south corridor of Lejeune Road, but this is due to a median beautification project. Trees, ground cover, flowering annuals, and irrigation will be installed on 12 medians down Lejeune Road. But not to worry, the travel lanes for motorists will not be affected. Lejeune Road is one of the main entrances into the city of Coral Gables, and these improvements are an initiative of the local city government to embellish our neighborhoods. Also on Lejeune Road and the corner of Ponce de Leon Boulevard, construction is underway for Epicure Gourmet Market and Cafe. This 24,000 square foot store will open this fall on the ground floor of this building and will also feature a European-style restaurant. This is good news for gourmet lovers in Coral Gables, as the closest Epicure market is in Miami Beach. And finally, Coral Gables was recently named one of America's top 10 romantic cities for 2013 by Livability.com. This online website looks for a unique atmosphere and amenities that cater to couples, such as charming natural attractions, fine dining, activities that awaken the body and mind, outdoor recreation, and romantic hotels and resorts. That's all I have for City News. This has been Tanya Leitz. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Tanya. Up next, the Miracle Theater marquee gets a major makeover. We'll be right back. An iconic landmark is now being restored to its original look. I'm talking about the Miracle Theater marquee. There are many aspects to this project, but there is one feature that is being restored that very few people remember. Veronica Fernandez has that story.
Yes, Belkis, and everyone in Coral Gables knows how important is the Miracle Theater and Miracle Mile to the culture in our city. But this time, it's getting a new facelift. Built in 1948, the historic Miracle Theater has been a cultural attraction in Coral Gables' signature street, Miracle Mile.
The theater brings 150,000 people here a year to downtown Coral Gables, which really adds to the cultural vitality of the community, its recognition in the art scene, and to the economic prosperity for businesses.
One element that characterizes the theater is the marquee facing Miracle Mile. Once restored, the marquee will light up one letter at a time, something that only a few people in Coral Gables remember seeing.
It was built originally in 1948, okay? And I believe this is the first renovation it's had in all those years, electrically and structurally. And it's going to be remain looking as it did in 1948, but with all new electrics in it and lighting, secure foundation and steel, and a beautiful facade in front, a nice clean looking facade.
The project includes renovations to the ticket kiosk, the poster cases, and the vertical marquee. The renovations are made possible with funding from two entities.
The City of Coral Gables has dedicated $240,000 to renovate and restore that beautiful historic marquee. So that's what's going on now. In addition, American Express Philanthropy has contributed $30,000, which Actors Play has secured to fund recreating the kiosk with new glass and the poster cases out front that will be really outstanding to promote our all the events here at the Miracle Theater. They'll be digital, and there'll be digital displays so that if we have 6 or 7 events in a day, which could happen here in any one day, we can give the public an opportunity to know what's happening at any one time so they can be comfortable about coming in for a certain event.
The stage inside the theater is also getting a new design. The Actors Playhouse is getting ready to present an award-winning musical.
Pretty soon you're going to see Washington Heights, New York, right on the Miracle Theater stage for our great 4-time Tony Award-winning musical In the Heights, which opens March 8th through April 7th.
The Miracle Theater is a popular venue in our community, and the renovation will enhance the experience for theater goers. All work is expected to be done by late spring, early summer. That's all I have. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Veronica. That does it for this edition of Coral Gables Now. Thanks for watching Coral Gables Television, and make sure that you check out our programming online at coralgables.com/Coral Gables TV. You can also find us on YouTube by searching Coral Gables TV. We'll see you next month.